Hello, this is Andrew Erickson with Physician Practice Specialist. Just want to do a quick video on on how to evaluate a contract and a proposal. This is the way we do it in most cases. It works well. Basically, tells you everything you need to know, and I'll get right to it. So basically, what we have is this particular report here is for a multi-specialty group with imaging and radiation, urology, a couple other specialties. So what we did is we took the most common codes from the different divisions and we came up with a list. Here you have your E&M codes. It's pretty straightforward. You have your surgical codes. These are imaging and radiation. So we have the current contract here. This is the rate that is currently being paid. Of 2009 is the 2009 Medicare, which is here. And again, you have to input this based on your region. So this practice is in Florida, and they're under what's called rest of Florida, which is locale 99. So that's where we pulled these numbers from. So basically what we did is we took and inputted what the current rates are based on the contract, based on, here it's 80% 2009. So, and this missing one here is just a code that changed. So what we would typically do with that is figure out what the default is for the contract. A lot of times it just defaults to like 100% of Medicare, or just whatever is 80% of 2009 Medicare. It might fall under that if it's an imaging code. So so basically you have your current rates that you're being paid, what those rates, how the calculations come about. You have the difference here between the proposed rate, which is here, and the current rate. So what we did with this is we just do conditional formatting, and we want to see basically kind of anything that's outside of like this here. In most cases that you would say that would be acceptable. $1.85. There's actually 7% decrease, and this code here is performed on nearly every patient that goes into a urology office, or a lot of them. So that would, $2 every patient over the course of a year does add up. So then these down here obviously are down a little bit, 7, 8, 9%. And then down here is where these are 2%, 2%, 1%. This is at 20%, which is, that's pretty good. The E&M codes on the new contract actually went up quite a bit, which will help everyone, especially the urology practice. So then what we do is there usually is a column, and actually it's just, well, let's see, I'll unhide it. Okay, so here what you have is you have a weight based on the revenue of the practice. So typically what we have is we do a column with the actual revenue per code, and then we apply a weight based on the total revenue. So if there was $1 million and 99212 was $100,000, and that would be a 10%, be weighted at 10%. I took out the current annual revenue here. Is just dummy numbers, but if you just to show you what I'm talking about, if I did, if I, added changed it around like that, then obviously you can see how it changes the weight. So what you would want to do with this column is just input your revenue for each of these codes. You could split it up by division, or by, if it's a multi-specialty group, you can split it up by specialty. But if it's just one practice, you just put your codes in, and then what the revenue for each of those codes. And then this weight calculation is basically, is taking your total revenue, which is down here, and the revenue per code, see, this is the sum. You can see the formula here of all of this, and this weight is actually this here, this revenue divided by the total. So if I'll just show you, if I do 2 million here, 2, 3, oh, it's 20. That should go down to 30% or something. So here's what the total revenue is and the weight for each. Okay, so now what we're looking at is based on the actual revenue from the previous year or from the previous month that this practice collected. Now we're able to see what these changes in the contract, what the revenue difference would be if it's plus or minus. And with this particular proposal, everything has improved significantly, except for just a handful of codes, which mostly are on the radiation or imaging side, diagnostic imaging, which is not unusual because those have taken a hit in recent years. So, what this here is, just so you know, 2009, 2011. So the new proposal is, let's see, it's 125 of 2011 Medicare. And what you'll see is some of them, even though it's a higher percentage, 115 is the current versus 125, still on some of them it's a decrease because of the fluctuations in the Medicare fee schedule. For this particular practice, we picked 2011 simply because it had, I guess, the biggest gain without the least amount of negative impact to the practice. The only thing that we couldn't really prevent was a reduction in imaging. So radiation actually took a big hit the past couple of years. Radiation therapy, IMRT codes, and those. So if we went 2012, which I don't have on this spreadsheet, but these codes all went down substantially. So anyways, so that's how we calculate them. The revenue differences, basically we take the new revenue. So we take what the revenue was on this current contract. We figure out what the revenue would be under the new contract, and then we tell you. Then the difference is shown here. So in order to figure that out, we just add the revenue difference plus the current annual revenue to tell you what this would be. The revenue difference, you can see all of the formulas up here in the formula bar. It's basically the current annual revenue times the percentage difference here, which gives us the new realized revenue. So, and this is just a little cheat thing. We insert last year's revenue from whatever the payer is to evaluate the impact from this change. This only applies to commercial lines of business. So you have to be careful when you're looking at these, because you a lot of times will have Medicare and commercial, and obviously Medicare is going to be paid at Medicare rates in most cases, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But the commercial line of business for this particular contract is the one we were looking at. Pretty straightforward, but feel free to let us know if you have any questions or if you need help with any of the formulas or anything like that. Thanks.